Welcome to our series focused on the phases of our Starseed Activation Journey. I'm Urania with Urania Heart Metaphysics.
And I'm Jackie B with Grow with Jackie B LLC and the Free and Fully Express movement.
In this video, we are discussing phase 3 and sharing an introductory practice that you can apply today.
So, this is phase 3 of our 12-week Starseed Activation Journey. So, phase 3 is literally the phase that's about integration and belonging, really anchoring in the statement that you belong here, not out in the stars, here. And this is where you stop identifying so much as a star seed, as like a identity per se, and you start living as a regulated, grounded, integrated galactic human being. So most people think the final phase of a spiritual journey is this expansion, right? But in our work, it's an integration. It's the stabilization. It's the belonging. So in phase 3, it's not about more. It's about less but deeper, if that makes sense. So we start out with week 3. And this is like after the integration become or after the activation comes integration, right? So this is where many people unconsciously try to expand again, right? We receive information and then we're like, all right, yep, we're ready to receive more. Like we take it in and then we're ready to receive more. But actually, what you need to do is you don't need more downloads, you don't need more stimulation, more insight. You need to integrate. You need stillness to anchor in what you just took in. Otherwise, we're just accumulating more information, right? It turns into how I see it is like you get information in. I'm doing a transmission, I'm giving you information right now. You take that information, this is an invitation to take that information, and as your brain's trying to process and take it in, it turns into a concept, right? It turns into knowledge. But when you take that and you set in a space where you can actually integrate and apply it to your life, that's how it turns to wisdom. And that's what we desire at the end of the day. Not just to know more, to be more, to understand, and to embody that wisdom. And so integration requires that stillness, that rest that holds the deep wisdom. So week 9 is really about honoring our capacity, not just the potential, right? But our current capacity. So we explore like what does our nervous system actually need right now? And because if you overflow a cup, you have something to pour out of, right? But you also don't want to have it overwhelmed. So there's different aspects of that. You don't want to be in overwhelm and where it's like information overload, but you also want to be able to like almost like it's second nature because you're being it, not just doing it. So that's why we're called human beings for a reason. So it's like really that integration of the masculine and feminine energy, the being and doing makes this beautiful integration, that sacred union of it all. So really for it is like sometimes when you take these smaller chunks like this video here, you have like a 5-minute embodiment practice. Sometimes that's more transformational than a 2-hour spiritual session. Why is that the case? Because of the integration. You are able to take the information, you're not hitting information overload, you've got the little nuggets, and now before I add more, I'm telling you apply it, feel it, experience it. I don't want you just to be able to regurgitate the information. I want you to live, breathe, and understand it from your core. So by the end of week 9, you're going to feel more stable, less spiritually frantic, so to say, and more regulated, able to hold what you're activating. And you'll feel more grounded in your current stage of life and existence, right? So you're going to stop chasing the expansion and the information database, right? And you're going to start embodying your own depth, which then opens us up to week 10. And this is all around the messaging of you are the authority. So this week is huge because spiritual journeys can create this subtle dependency in some spaces on teachers, on tools, on messages, on signs. But in week 10 for us, we remove the gentle training wheel, so to say. We start exploring what intuition is versus impulse, embodied trust, and release the dependence on external confirmation, so to say. So we practice soul-led, body guide, mind-aligned decision-making from this alignment space. So by the end of week 10, we're really stepping into being more decisive, less confused, less reliant on the external readers or the constant external validation, and more in tune to our own guidance system. This is really allows us to be grounded more in I know, right? And this is where authority returns back home to our being, which then opens us up to week 11. And week 11 is all about devotion. So now we have taken responsibility, right? But not in a heavy way, but in a mature, evolved way. Awareness has responsibility with it. So we explore grounded leadership, service without the self sacrificing, devotion without self abandoning. Because being a galactic human is not about evolution or what is the word? Like it's not about hierarchy. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like it's not about you like rising above somebody else. It's about being integrated. It's about bringing your essence into your boundaries, into your parenting, into your partnerships, into your business, into the conflict, into the rest. It's not about performance. It's really about being devoted to this life experience, to this human experience, and the embodiment of everything. Like taking in the beauty of this creation and this beautiful Mother Earth that we have and all the opportunities that come. The good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you want to label them as. They all serve us in one way, shape, or form if we allow them to. So by the end of week 11, you're going to feel more stable in your own leadership and less of that like performance type energy and more clear on what your own boundaries are, more confident in serving in your way of service without having to sacrifice to receive it, right? And more grounded in your own daily embodiment practices. So this is where you stop saying what's next and you start living in what's here for me right now, which then takes us into the last week, which is week 12. And for us, it's not you don't end, you integrate, right? It's an ever evolving circle, spiral path. So spiritual journeys don't end with just a collapse. They don't drop off. They don't end in confusion or emotional crash. Like that's not normal, right? That's not the way we want to end. We end with complete, we end in this complete consciousness. It's a completion is like a threshold, not a cliff that's just like here's the end destination. There's always you get there and then there's something else you can decide to go and expand on, right? Because we aren't just the whole life is not to get from A to B. To a point, yes. But it's like if we are so focused on getting here to here, we miss all the beautiful milestones that we make in the ebbs and flows of life in between. And that's actually the journey is what we're taking home with. And so in this week, we are exploring like the cyclical devotion nature, the sacred rhythm of not only ourselves, but how we interact with nature and life. Because integration is key to our expansion. So when we integrate, we bring in the information and it's expansion, right? We're expanding, just like you breathe. You're going to breathe in the information and then you're going to kind of constrict a little bit, but that's just the hold constriction. It's not like squeezing. We're going to constrict a little bit to hold and figure out where it lands for us and we integrate. Then we have room and space because if we don't exhale, how are we supposed to breathe in again? Like if you think about it, like, yes, that's to a point of your own stretchiness. Like if you inhale, and I tell you inhale again, and then eventually you're going to feel like a balloon, right? Like you got to be able to let go and create the space. And that's what it's all about is really when we integrate, we create spaciousness because it's shifting from taking in information to embodied. So then we are the exhale to anchor into all of ourselves to be able to expand. So we create space for reflection, for release, for continuation of whatever that next chapter looks for you. So every spiral leads into the next ring, right? And so by the end of this week, you're going to really feel this completion energy and not like a disconnected. It's about rooted, not stagnant where nothing's moving anymore. It's about clear next steps. It's being confident on moving forward without feeling dependent on things, right? It's about a deep belonging to the earth and to yourself, right? It's where belonging actually becomes the embodiment. So what does phase 3 really do for us? Phase 1 says you're safe, right? We talked about that in one of the previous videos. Phase two is about you are embodied. But phase three is really about you belong here on earth, in your body, in your life, in your relationships, in your mission. You stop trying to escape everything or distract yourself or numb yourself out. And you stop trying to prove and you really start living. So if you've ever felt like you don't quite belong, phase three is where that story dissolves. And because belonging is really about not finding another planet, finding another story to anchor on, it's about becoming fully present in this one right now that you're currently writing. And when you are regulated, embodied, and sovereign, you realize you were never meant to leave. You are meant to truly live and what that means to live.
Beautiful. So, as Jackie beautifully stated, this is the belonging, this is the knowing. So, let's begin with a simple practice to really integrate all of this. So, take a slow breath with inhale through your nose and gently exhale through the mouth. Feel your body where you are right now. Notice the support beneath you, the ground, the chair, the bed, the floor, wherever you are, feel that support. And let your body settle for a moment. Now place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And take another slow breath. And instead of asking for guidance from outside yourself, gently ask within, what do I truly know right now? Don't force an answer, just feel, just let it come to you. Notice what your body already trusts. Notice what feels steady and what feels simple and true. Now say quietly to yourself, I trust my inner authority. I honor my current capacity. I belong here. Take one more breath. Deep inhale. Longer exhale. Feel your feet connected to the earth. You are not leaving Earth, you are anchoring in. You are not here to chase the next expansion. You are here to live what you have already remembered. And this is integration. Thanks for watching our series on Starseed Journey activation phases. Please like the video if this has supported you and you enjoy this, and also subscribe to our channels to stay up to date with our Starseed offerings.